Addies Gamers, this is Game Sergeant Scurry, and welcome to a different video we're going to be doing. Today it's actually going to be a room tour video. So basically I'm just going to be showing you, what my recording setup looks like, what my process is, and just taking you around the room, showing you some memorabilia stuff as well. Stuff that doesn't really have much to do with recording, and stuff that does have to do with recording. Also, I guess I'll start with what's on my head right now. This headset, really good headset. It is a Afterglow Level 5 Plus headset, I think. So that's the microphone you're hearing. It looks like it's not that great of a microphone, but pretty decent. It gets the job done, especially when I'm recording off my phone. I do plan on using this when I go to E3 this year. So yeah, I do plan on going to E3. I've got plane tickets. Basically, whenever I get my tax check or whatever, I'm planning on getting the plane tickets. I'm actually getting the E3 itself, event tickets next week. So yeah, I'm guaranteed going to E3 this year and taking this headset so I can use this microphone, for vlogging during the trip. But anyway, also I've got the flashlight on my phone, so I'm using my phone to record, and I got the flashlight on my phone on, and it's shining right in my face. It's on because the lighting in this room is not that great, and so I need something to compensate for that. But I'm going to go ahead and turn this around and point it at what I'm going to start with, so that the flashlight's not shining my eye and making me go blind. But anyway, we'll go ahead and start with some memorabilia stuff. So what we have I guess we'll start with this. I think I was in 7th grade all the way up until basically when I graduated high school. I was in band class, and I actually played the clarinet for mostly all the way throughout high school, and for the last 2 years, so junior and senior year, I was in the drum line for marching band. And so that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing mallets for the marching tenors. So by marching tenors, if you don't know what those are the 4 drums like in a row, and sometimes they have a small one in the center, quints, quads, toms, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, that's what I played the last 2 years of high school. I was the one person that played them, and yeah, it's kind of a tragic story about how I ended up playing those. If you want to hear that story, leave a like and comment if you want to hear that, story in the near future. But oh well. So we'll move over to this. This drum here has nothing to do with me being in a marching band or anything. I actually got this. I think I was in a zoo, in Nashville somewhere. Or the Nashville Zoo, Nashville somewhere. But anyway, and there was a gift shop in there, and they had different drums like this of many different sizes, and I was like, hey, it's pretty affordable. It's like $14. And I was like, hey, I like drums, so let me just get this. What is this? A conga, or whatever it is. But yeah, so that's why I got it. Made in Indonesia. You can't really see it with this flashlight blocking, over flashing the, this made in whatever sticker there. But yeah, made in Indonesia. Pretty nice drum. So yeah, I got it because I like drums. Over here, you're seeing, when I was in 4th grade, I was actually in elementary school football, and although that ended in a disaster, I still ended up taking this trophy home. So I mean, it's just like a participation award. But yeah, so I don't regret being in football. The reason I'm not in football anymore is because the very next year, me and my family went on a trip at the same time that football camp would have started, and I probably would have been in football the next year. But the year after the year I wasn't in football, so middle school, I was in band. So, and I definitely like band better than football. So, even though, I don't hate football, but oh well. We'll continue. along this tour. This here is my senior year, high school senior year yearbook, and we're not going to be looking through there. I don't want you to see my my like ugly high school pictures and stuff like that, but oh well. This right here is a gigantic collector's album full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. If you can count, there's like 1,000 something pages in there. In fact, I don't even think anyone could tell me how many pages in there. If you can figure that out, I got to give you a prize or something, because there's no way. But yeah, there's like thousands of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in there, because yes, I used to be a pretty avid Yu-Gi-Oh fan. I'm still an avid Yu-Gi-Oh fan, but not to the point where I take the cards out of the out of the album. But anyway, moving on. These right here, these are Nintendo Switch cases. So ever since I got the Switch, surprisingly, I take the Switch out, on the go quite a bit every once in a while. And this is the first Switch case I got. I just got this because I wanted a case. And it actually came with a pair of headphones, a pretty decent pair of headphones, and a screen cloth and whatever. And functionally, it's pretty good. It's by functionally I mean, it has pretty large pockets, so you can carry quite a bit of stuff in there, and like games and stuff or whatever. Up here, these are Zelda themed ones. I really like this one because it has the Sheikah Slate on it, and then that one has Link on it, but I like that one better. And even though these ones look a lot cooler than this, obviously, because that one doesn't look like anything, it's not very functional. It just holds the Switch in a couple games, and that's about it. You can fit like a tiny wire in there, but other than that, it's pretty useless in comparison to that one. So I've mostly been using this for like on-the-go Switch stuff, and this just for visual purposes, just on display. And then over here, so obviously my channel is named Game Sergeant Scurry for a reason, and that reason is that I'm actually in the military, the Army Reserve specifically. And though I'm technically not a sergeant, I'm actually a specialist, but the game specialist doesn't really roll off the tongue like game sergeant does, and calling myself a game specialist doesn't really seem that important, especially when we're talking about video games. So yeah, that's why I'm game sergeant, because game sergeant just sounds better, and yeah, so whatever. We'll move up here. This is another like memorabilia for when I was in high school band, and it's just like participation they give you at the banquet at the end of the year. This is another high school band plaque or whatever. The cool thing about this one is the picture on it. It was in my senior year of high school. We actually went to Disney World and we played at the Epcot. At the Epcot park, we actually marched through the, through the streets of Epcot and played like right in front of the giant golf ball in the middle of Epcot. We played right in front of that, and it was a really fun experience. One of the best trips we've ever taken. I guess up until it might even still top this E3 trip. We'll see about that when that happens. But one of the most expensive trips ever too. It was $700 a person. It's still better than $1,000 a person if you were to go there without, an invitation. But yes, really nice trip. I don't think I'll ever be able to go there again, but I'm glad I did. So, hey, there you go. I guess you probably saw this already. This here, these here, I should say. These are posters I got in like special editions of the games they are titled. So we've got a Project X Zone one. This one's funny because when I bought Project X Zone, sorry for shaking the camera, my arms are getting tired a little bit, but that's okay. Funny thing about Project X Zone's thing, the game, or the special edition box, cost the same price as just the game by itself, which is weird. It's about $20, and it came with the soundtrack CD, poster, and the game. And so yeah, that was kind of a steal. And oh, and it came with an art book as well. And yeah, Project X Zone is one of my favorite 3DS games, so I'm glad I got this. This right here, so this one's from Conception 2. This game is pretty bad, actually. Sorry, Atlas. Atlas is, you know, you're a cool developer, but this was definitely not one of your best games. But hey, the soundtrack CD, this was another special edition that came with a soundtrack CD and a poster. Didn't have an art book, thank God. But hey, the soundtrack was pretty good. Probably the best thing about the game. Only good thing about the game. Really. But hey, there you go. Posters and whatnot. Okay, this right here. Oops, sorry. This right here is confidential. I cannot show you what's in here because it is personal related. It's got stuff related to military, address, and just personal informations that I can't show on camera. So, but I can show you this, my air conditioner and a fan. Actually, my fan's right there because I don't want it on my desk, so I can record this and nothing be in the way. I guess we'll go through this before we talk about what's in the recording setup. Nintendo Switch accessories like extra Joy-Con grips, those little Mario and Luigi's like single Joy-Con grips. There's actually an Xbox 360 controller in here. Why is that if I am a Nintendo Switch gamer? Well, simple. PC gaming. Even though I don't play PC games, I play emulators on PC, and so this was the controller I use most often, but I'll show you why I say was later on. But yeah, so I use this controller. It's a PowerA Pro controller, or not Pro controller, but Xbox 360 controller, and so yeah, that's why I have that. And then you also see GameCube controllers. I no longer own a GameCube. Obviously, I use this for Smash Brothers on the Wii U, but the reason I still have this is because the GameCube is my favorite system of all time. So yeah, and even though I don't have my GameCube anymore, I'm still keeping something related to the GameCube, so I can at least prove that I had it. And like, that was my original GameCube controller, and that is the Smash controller, so whatever. Going downward, Wii U memorabilia. I no longer have my Wii U, or the gamepad. This is just a gamepad glove. But yeah, I no longer have the Wii U, but I kept the controllers of that as well. There's a Xenoblade. I kept a couple games too, just because they're my favorite games on the Wii U. Well, not necessarily Bayonetta, although I do want to kind of trade that Bayonetta in for the Bayonetta on the Switch. I don't think I'll be able to do that, but I'll be able to sell it, or like trade it in, just so I can get money to be able to buy Bayonetta on the Switch. But anyway, Xenoblade Chronicles X, my favorite game on the Wii U. Smash is second. Sorry, but it is. Controllers and whatnot. Under that, we have just a mess of wires. Mostly just audio equipment that I've used in the past. This right here was my original microphone that I used on my original channel that no longer exists. Actually, it's still there, but I no longer have access to it. And this microphone is trash, but I had to use it because I didn't have the money to buy decent microphones back in those days. And yeah, so, but I'm glad I no longer need to use that. But anyway, moving on, we'll talk about, oh, the screen's been out. We'll talk about the setup. So this is my main gaming and recording setup. Once again, sorry about the shakiness, but not really much I could do because it's my phone. I'm kind of holding it awkwardly and whatever. So right now you're seeing 3 screens and a really bright light over there, but we'll talk about that later. So we got 3 screens here. On the left and right side are AOC 81 series 24-inch monitors, and as you can see here, I use those for my PC, screen. Only those 2. The middle one is a Westinghouse. I'm not sure what model it is, but it's a Westinghouse 24-inch TV, not a monitor. And contrary to what many, I actually use it for gaming. It's a screen I record off of. So if I'm playing a game, that's what you see. But yeah, contrary to what people will tell you about the quality of Westinghouse products, I'll turn my switch on so you can see exactly what's going on there as a truck like zooms by. Or I think that's an airplane. I think it might be both an airplane and a truck. But anyway, contrary to what most people will tell you about the quality of Westinghouse products, this is one of the best TVs I have ever laid eyes on. Especially a 1080p TV. So yeah, it is 1080p capable, not 4K, unfortunately. Actually, none of these monitors are 4K capable. Yeah, one of the best TVs I've ever laid eyes on. The colors really pop and stuff. And the real cool thing is, it was only $110, and it's still one of the best TVs I've ever laid eyes on. Like, even surpassing some, $1,000 Samsung and Sony TVs. I mean, it's hard to tell with this camera, but you look at it up close, IRL, and it's, like I said, one of the best looking TVs I've ever laid eyes on. And these monitors are also decent too, but this one is actually plugged in through VGA, and that one is plugged in through HDMI. And they really don't look that different, although you can kind of tell there's a color difference. And surprisingly, the VGA one's color looks almost better than that one, than the HD one, even though this one's crisper. The color on this one's better, even though the exact same model monitor. I'm not sure what the deal with that is, but oh well. I haven't messed with the color settings at all either, so I'm not sure what the deal is there. So moving on, we'll talk about these cameras. This is a Logitech C920 1080p 30 frames per second camera, and I use this for streaming basically, or any like one-on-one talk, video vlog cameras or whatever, or videos. So yeah, my main camera. On the left side we have a Logitech C310 720p 30 frames per second camera, and this is my original camera I used, in the early days of my channel, my channel that I no longer have access to. And it's even though the recording quality of it is terrible, surprisingly the sound, like the volume, or not volume, but microphone on it is miles better than this one. Leagues better than this one for some reason. I used this as my microphone for, a decent amount of time, up until I got my better microphones. So yeah, I use this for like alternate camera angles whenever I'm streaming or making videos or whatever. So yeah, there's that for you. So as you can see, as I pan left to right, we have on the far left, we have two pairs of Joy-Cons. We have my Marie Green Joy-Cons in a charging stand. We have my gray Joy-Cons that I put a Zelda skin on. And they're actually in a Pro charging grip that I unboxed about a month ago. Right here, we have my Nintendo Switch in its dock, and it's got a Zelda skin on it. Same skin that I put on this gray Joy-Cons, and it also has the same skin pack on the dock as well. Pretty nice looking skin pack. As we go to the middle area of my setup, we have my, my blue and white, almost M&M colored Pro controller. Really badass, sexy looking controller. My regular black, sort of see-through Pro controller. It's got a silicone, cover around it, and on the sticks, and it makes the controller feel abnormally big, but also really comfortable, surprisingly. The blue Joy-Cons, the one on the left is the one that came with the system when I first got it, and the one on the right, I actually bought to have matching colors. The red ones are actually gone, because I gave those to my sister, because I bought her Nintendo Switch, and gave her two pairs of Joy-Cons, the one that came with the system, and a red pair. The gray ones that came with the system and a red pair. And then over here is my, third-party Switch controller. Surprisingly, here's an interesting thing about this controller, and it ties into that Xbox 360 controller that I was talking about. Surprisingly, my computer is not Bluetooth capable, but and it won't take these controllers through wired connection, which is weird because this controller does work through wired connection on my PC, so I can use this as a PC controller, and it's the same company as that PowerA Xbox 360 controller, so I use this one more often, and most of the time whenever I'm playing like emulators on my PC or something, and that's kind of weird, but yeah. So those are my Nintendo Switch controllers. I guess since you can already see it, we'll move down here. This is the microphone I use. I switch between. Currently have 3 microphones at the moment, and I switch between 2 of them on a regular basis. But right now I have my blue Snowball, even though it's not blue, it's black. But blue Snowball microphone, and it's on a Tree Newbie arm stand, and it's also got a pop filter on the front, obviously. And I actually have a shock mount in the bottom drawer there that normally I would have. It's like a custom fit for the blue Snowball, but it's so heavy, in addition with the blue Snowball microphone itself, and it takes up so much space that it actually weighs this stand down sometimes, and obviously takes up way too much space for me to put it on there. But hey, I have it, the shock mount, for whenever maybe I get a better stand than this. And then over here we have my gaming mouse. It is a Corsair Scimitar Pro, capable of changing its colors. It's got the hotkey buttons on the side. I use these hotkeys for opening like the task manager window and like file folders and stuff like that. And yeah, I made it so the color is green because, like I said, with the Marie color Joy-Cons, green is my favorite color. And as we move to the left, we have my gaming keyboard. It is a Razer Black Widow Ultimate 2016 edition. So yeah, I got this. Actually, I got this in 2017, even though it says 2016 edition. It's a really pretty badass keyboard. It can only be green, which, at first I thought it was a bummer. You'd think of it as a bummer, but since green is my favorite color, it doesn't really bother me. And then over here, the cool thing about this keyboard is that it has a USB and headphone extension. Like, you can plug any USB device in the side here, which I chose to put a mouse there because it's right next to it. And you can also plug in a pair of headphones or a microphone in the side here too. It's got the 3.5mm jack port, and it's really cool. So like it acts as sort of an extension, so it runs through here, and as you can see at the front of my PC right here, there are 2 USB plugs. There's the plug for the keyboard itself, and then this is whatever you plugged into the USB port on the side of the keyboard. So you can plug anything that is USB 2.0 and it'll work fine. It's just an extension cord. That is a really cool thing about this. And it also, this is the audio extension as well for that same keyboard. So like I rarely have to unplug anything from the computer. If I ever need to change mice or headphones, I just plug it into the side of the keyboard. Really handy. So moving on, we have my Elgato Stream Deck. This is also a pretty badass piece of equipment here. Even though I haven't used it very often because my up until really a couple days ago, like last week, my computer only has doesn't have very many USB ports, so I've had to refrain from using this or switch between using my cameras and microphones and this if I want to use it at all. But I actually recently bought a USB, like a 4-port USB 3.0 hub, so now I can fit multiple devices you know, and this is added to the arsenal of equipment. And like I said, it's a real badass piece of equipment. It's basically just a hotkey, like hotkey keyboard that you can like. Each of these panels you can program like as a folder full of hotkeys. So I can click on that, and I can like for example, this is my my internet keyboard or key. So I'll hit that, and it pulls up like a list of websites I can open. I can open up Google, YouTube, whatever. And yeah. Oh, and you can actually custom fit or customize icons for each each panel and each folder. So that's really cool. I obviously, like I said, made it green to just match the greenness of the rest of my keyboard, mouse setup, or whatever. So moving to the left, continuing to the left, we have my PC. It is a pretty pitiful PC, if you ask me, even though so what it is, it's an Acer Aspire X. It's got an Intel J1900 processor, Intel HD graphics, 500 gigabyte hard drive, 4 gigs of RAM. Sounds pitiful, and it is pitiful, but you'd be surprised about what this PC can get done, because it's able to handle basically all of this and with room to spare. This is a crazy. It's got 5 USB ports, 4 of which are USB 2.0, and 1 is USB 3.0. And it's got 1 HDMI output and 1 VGA output, both of which I use for my AOC screens. But yeah, this surprisingly for how low quality or how I guess underpowered this PC is, and it was only like $250 or something like that. So understandably not that powerful, but still able to handle quite a bit of work put into it. Even though like the low quality or of the the graphics card and the processor isn't high enough for me to do anything much higher than like 720 60 frames per second video recording, or 480p 30 frames per second streaming. But hey, I mean, I don't really care much about as long as the frame rate is okay. Anything that's 480 and above, at least for now, is decent enough for me. But obviously I do eventually plan on getting a better PC. So anyway, let's go ahead and keep it moving. This is my camera stand. I use it. What I usually do, I use this for whenever I'm doing unboxings or anything that has to do with the desk. And what I usually do, I just put the C920 over here. And so, yeah, so that's basically what that is. Right here we have my backup microphones. So this right here is the Blue Snowball Ice. Actually my first decent microphone. I got this sometime in summer of 2016. And it was a really good microphone. Basically the same recording quality as that. But I had sort of an issue with it where it would keep, like every 30 seconds or so, or it wouldn't happen that often, but it would happen often enough to where it would be annoying. But it had like every once in a while you'd hear like a static sound in it. And it would only happen when I'm recording. It wouldn't happen like if I was using it for voice chat or something like that. It was kind of weird. So that's why I eventually got this Blue Snowball. It was about $60. This was about $30 when I got it. And then this right here is my Samsung Meteor, and this is a really good microphone. About the same quality as my Blue Snowball. It is about the same price as well, and it's really good. And surprisingly, even though it's really small like this, it actually won't fit in any shock mount, any regular microphone shock mount, even though it looks like a normal microphone. But it will fit, surprisingly, in the Blue Snowball microphone shock mount because of how small it is. That's crazy. That was kind of weird, when I found out that it would fit in that shock mount. But anyway, okay, so what you're seeing here I don't use this. This is a Dell Inspiron, pretty old, like almost 10-year-old computer. It still has Windows XP. I don't use this computer. So right now I'm currently living with my grandparents. Just living situations. But I have to eat. I mean, I have to keep this in because my grandparents are, the those people who are like, I can't handle this, 1080p, Windows 10, freaking shit like this. So please just make it so I can use the old computer. So hey, that's why I have it plugged in. And while I'm on that subject, that's why you see this keyboard here. And while I got the camera ported here, we'll talk about this right here. So this is a power switchboard. So I'm able to plug in actually 6 different power inputs in here, and 4 of which I am able to use these switches to turn whatever is plugged into it on and off without having to unplug it or go to its like the switch on it. And I use these for my lights, my lighting. So on the left here we have my left soft light lamp, the middle, I guess number 3, yeah. We have my overhead hard light lamp, and then on the right we have my right side soft light umbrella lamp. So yeah, and then I eventually plan on putting on the far right a recording sign on the outside of my door, so I don't have to tell my folks that I'm recording. I can just turn this on and they know I'm recording, or I'm live, live streaming or something. So yeah, that's probably one of the coolest things I have in this room so far. And while I was on the subject of lighting, we'll talk about what lights are. So that's my left side soft light lamp, overhead, hard light desktop lamp. I use this for when I'm streaming. Like, I just turn all the lights off and use that as a late night stream light. And then this is my umbrella lamp that I put on the right side. It's a soft light lamp because of obviously the lamp shade on it, but it's a little harder than that lamp there. Surprisingly, I've had the same bulb in that lamp ever since like 2015, and it hasn't gone out on me. That's crazy. But anyway, now we're pretty much done with this side here. I really don't use, we have that phone there for emergency purposes. This printer, I don't use this printer. Once again, it's for this, it's plugged into that computer. My grandfather, he's a photographer, and so he uses that for photography. So, yeah, more power to him. Down here, we have my sound system. This is a Durabrand HT395. It's pretty old. I think we got it sometime in like 2008 or something. And it is a crazy good sound system. It's actually really loud. Like, the system itself, the box is loud. Pretty loud. Like, if you're trying to sleep and you hear it, like, it's going to wake you up at some point if you don't have it turned off. Also, I don't think... Some of you probably have never seen this before. You probably know the the yellow and red audio cables. These are also yellow and red audio cables, but they're gray and black. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's just how they used to be. I don't know. But hey, these actually, and the weird thing is, these actually sound better than the red and white audio cables. But yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so and that's the audio I use for my for gaming and stuff. But anyway, I guess since we were on the subject of this surround sound system, well, I'll just show you where all the speakers are. We have my surround speakers 5.1 all around the room, up in the corners, and then one in the center right in front of the screens. And then here's my subwoofer under the desk. So yeah, that is my sound system. And then, since I was panning around the room, I guess I'll show you what's up top here. This is my amiibo collection. About 48, well, there is 48 amiibos here. basically, if you're a follower of my previous channel that I no longer have access to, I used to do a lot of amiibo unboxing videos, as well as like I used to do like amiibo tournaments in Smash Brothers. So yeah, and that's what I bought these for Smash mainly. I used to have a couple like Splatoon amiibos, but I gave those away to my sister because I had no longer any use for them. But anyway, I do want to buy some eventually again. But anyway, I guess we'll end the video. Well, know what? We'll go back here and talk about what's going on behind the screens. Yeah, behind the screens, we have. This is my USB 3.0, 4-port USB hub, and this is the Game Capture HD 60 Pro, or not Pro, just HD 60, and that's how I'm able to record gameplay. And now we'll end off over here. So this is basically, it might seem weird, but I don't care. It's basically just the history of all the equipment I bought. So yeah, I like to keep it there just to see how far I've come from, from all the equipment I bought and stuff. So over here, mostly just Nintendo Switch stuff. We got all the controller stuff there. This is actually the Nintendo Switch console box. Got my keyboard there. There's actually a Sega Genesis there because, you know how I said that my favorite console of all time is the Nintendo GameCube? Well, my second favorite console of all time is the Sega Genesis. So, yeah. Really great. That's actually the phone I'm using right now. It's some Verizon phone that I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's not the very best phone because obviously this recording quality could be a lot better. This is another of the Nintendo Switch cases that I like to collect, and it's basically the same case as those Zelda ones on the shelf back there. So it's not very useful functionally, but it still looks pretty cool. Cases is all my cameras, microphones, mouse, game capture. That's actually a USB LAN adapter for my Nintendo Switch. And actually, what you're seeing here, more Yu-Gi-Oh cards, because why not? Or just, a Yu-Gi-Oh pin that I bought ages ago. And then here, it's a box full of anime, DVDs, because I used to be a huge fan of anime, and this is one of my favorite animes of all time. And it's, it's like a 9-box set or 8 box, I don't know, 7, 8, 9-box set or whatever. So, and then right under it, the hats I usually wear during live streams and stuff. There's a Zelda one, there's a Mario one, there's just a Nintendo one and a Pokemon one. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is my chair. It's pretty cheap. It's about 40 bucks, and gets the job done. So yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, and there's my bed. Yeah, that's pretty much it for this room tour video. If you like what you see in this video and you'd like to see more videos, vlogs like this in the future, like I said, I'm definitely going to be doing something more along the lines of this for my trip to E3. And yeah, so if you like this video, definitely send me a salute by hitting that like button, and also subscribe while you're at it. So take care and carry on.